So today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, first canto, chapter 13, text number 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narada Uvacha Ma Kanchana Shucha Rajam Yat Ishvaravasham Jagat Loka Sapala Yashya Ime Vahanti Balim Ishitu Sa Samyunakti Bhutani Sa Eva Viyunakti Cha Sa Eva Viyunakti Cha Narado Vacha Ma Kanchana Sucho Rajan Yad Ishvara Vasham Jagat Lokasapalayas Yeme Vahanti Balam Ishitu Sa Samyunakti Bhutani Sa Eva Viyunakti Cha. Narada Uvacha. Narada said, Ma, never, Kanchana, by all means, Sucha, do you lament, Rajan, O king, yet because Ishvaravasham, under the control of the Supreme Lord, Jagat, world, Loka, all living beings, Sapala, including their leaders, Yashya, whose, Ime, all these, Vahanti, do bear, Balim, means of worship, Ishitu, for being protected, Sa, he, Samyunakti, gets together, Bhutani, all living beings, Sa, he, Eva, also, Viyunakti, disperses, Cha, and. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Narada said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Every living being, either in this material world or in the spiritual world, is under the control of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Beginning from Brahmaji, the leader of this universe, down to the insignificant ant, all are abiding by the order of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the constitutional position of the living being is subordination under the control of the Lord. The foolish living being, especially man, artificially rebels against the law of the Supreme and thus becomes chastised as an asura, or lawbreaker. A living being is placed in a particular position by the order of the Supreme Lord, and he is again shifted from that place by the order of the Supreme Lord or his authorized agents. Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Maharaj Yudhishthira are in modern history. Napoleon, Akbar, Alexander, Gandhi, Subhash, and Nehru are all servants of the Lord, and they are all placed in and removed from their respective positions by the supreme will of the Lord. None of them is independent. Even though such men or leaders rebel so as not to recognize the supremacy of the Lord, they are put under still more rigorous laws of the material world by different miseries. Only the foolish man, therefore, says that there is no God. Maharaj Yudhishthira was being convinced of this naked truth because he was greatly overwhelmed by the sudden departure of his old uncles and aunt. Maharaj Dhritarashtra was placed in that position according to his past deeds. He had already suffered and enjoyed the benefits accrued to him in the past, but due to his good luck, somehow or other, he had a good younger brother, Vidura, and by his instruction he left to achieve salvation by closing all accounts in the material world. Ordinarily, one cannot change the course of one's due happiness and distress by plan. Everyone has to accept them as they come under the subtle arrangements of kala, or invincible time. There is no use trying to counteract them. The best thing is, therefore, that one should endeavor to achieve salvation, and by this prerogative is given only to man because of his developed condition of mental activities and intelligence. Only for man are there different Vedic instructions for attainment of salvation during the human form of existence. One who misuses this opportunity of advanced intelligence is verily condemned and put into different types of miseries, either in this present life or in the future. That is the way the Supreme controls everyone. There's room here at the front. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschandya Deshatarine. This is a very nice point. That ordinarily one cannot change the course of one's due happiness and distress by plan. That means extraordinarily one can do so. You can change your destiny, and that is by taking the Krishna consciousness. See, for the ordinary person, he has no control whatsoever. He's just it's like somebody being tossed on the waves of the material nature. Sometimes he's on the top of the wave, sometimes he's in the bottom, you see. Sometimes he's a powerful, rich, famous materialist. Sometimes he's in a very deplorable, distressful condition. But in either case, it's a distressful position. Because even when he's in the top, he's getting ready to come to the bottom. As I was stating the other day, when you're happy, you should know that misery is on the way. When you're miserable, you should know that happiness is on the way. So there's no fixed position, there's no steady position, you see. It's being tossed on the waves, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So ordinarily, there's nothing you can do about it. But if you're fortunate to come in contact with the pure devotee of the Lord, come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, come in contact with the Vaishnavas, then you can actually change your destiny. You can change your destiny by taking shelter of the Lord. And in this way, you can escape the up and down, sukha dukkha nature of this material existence and come to a position of pure spiritual bliss. Brahma bhuta prasanatmana sochati nakangshati samaksaveshu bhuteshu bandhaktim labate param. One who is thus transcendently situated becomes fully joyful. He doesn't hanker for anything, he doesn't lament about anything. He's equally disposed towards all living beings, and in that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. Even the preliminary state, you see, a Brahmabhuta state, preliminary to pure bhakti, even that state is ecstatic. I mean, bhakti is so wonderful that even the preliminary stage of Brahmabhuta is ecstatic position to be in. So that means even the neophyte devotee who hasn't achieved pure bhakti yet, he can be in bliss 24 hours a day, free from the pangs of material suffering. And you see, even the neophyte devotee who's in the preliminary stage, he can relish the sweetest happiness 24 hours a day. Seeing through the eyes of the scripture, seeing that I'm a spiritual being, I have nothing to do with this rotting material body. Not me. It's just the covering of the self. It's not the actual self, you see. Even the person who has not yet achieved the perfection, because he's properly situated in transcendental knowledge and he's acting according to duty, he's following the order of his spiritual master, you see. Even such a person who's still on the neophyte platform, hankering from that day when he can achieve pure bhakti, even that person can be in bliss 24 hours a day. So that's one point. There's so many little wonderful gems in every single purport. Here, Prabhupada gives another definition of asura. We've heard the word asura many times, a demon, a rascal, you know. But here's another definition, a lawbreaker. What does that mean? He ran a red light? No, one who breaks the laws of God. He's called an asura. So the laws of God are a very important thing. If you transgress the laws of God, you are an asura. Finished. You can't say, well, I'm very well respected around town. My kids look up to me, my wife loves me, the newspaper, they write nice articles. No, if you break the laws of God, you are an asura, you're a rascal, you're a demon, that's all. Prabhupada says, we have test tube. We can immediately understand what is the position. Do you accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? No, then you're a demon, you're a asura, you're a rascal. Immediately. Test tube, Prabhupada calls it. Can immediately understand, this man is a rascal. He doesn't accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. Immediately, rascal. You see. So what is the position of our modern day civilization? It is rascal civilization. Simply rascals. So, because they're all breaking the laws of God. I mean, abortion clinics, slaughterhouses, we don't even like to talk about it. It's so horrible what's going on. It's so horrible what's going on. People get so disturbed when somebody gets murdered. But why don't they care about all the children that are being murdered? You see, in the abortion clinics, millions of children are being murdered in this country every year. And they think nothing of it. I mean, it shows you how much they're covered by gross ignorance. Gross ignorance. Millions of children are being murdered with the government's approval. The government is authorizing them. This is like Hitler's Germany going on here. This is like putting the Jews in the gas chambers. This is like Nazi Germany right now going on. We're living. We think it's always very nice, America, America, sweet land of liberty. But it's like Nazi Germany. They're killing the babies in greater numbers than Hitler killed the Jews. You see? But we become so enamored by the flag and the nice flag waving in the breeze and all the external niceties, relative prosperity, appears to be a peaceful, nice houses in suburban America up and down the street with nice manicured lawns, We forget what's going on here. We don't realize that this is like Nazi Germany, murdering so many innocent young children every day. You see? Every day. This is an Asura. Every country in the world now, the whole planet is simply Asura. Asura Loka. Breaking the laws of God. So that's a nice point. Prabhupada says, the foolish living being, especially man, artificially rebels against the law of the Supreme Lord. Why does Prabhupada say artificially? Because that's not his nature. By nature, we want to cooperate with God. But by bad association, by bad training, we're trained to think, speak, and act in ways that are unnatural to the self, and therefore we're not happy. You see? It's artificial. This rebellion against the Lord is an artificial position. It's like a fish, wanting to live on the land. Artificial position. That's another nice point. Maybe you all know that Prabhupada lists all these modern Napoleon, Akbar, that's Emperor Akbar in India. Alexander the Great, Gandhi we know, and Subhash. Is that Subhash Chandra Bose? The one who, Subhash Chandra Bose he had gathered an Indian, while Gandhi was doing his non-violent movement, Subhash Chandra Bose was gathering an Indian army. He went overland to Germany and made a deal with Hitler. Any Indian soldiers who surrender, let them keep their weapons and let them go back to India. And Hitler agreed. Prabhupada told us. So, you go to Bengal, he's very much celebrated. He was a Bengali. Gandhi is celebrated, but his approach was actually the word we got from Prabhupada was actually, it wasn't Gandhi who actually, it was the fear that the Subhash Chandra Bose's national army that the British actually let go of India finally. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. The British, they were afraid of that army of Bose. Of course, Gandhi had some influence as well. It was probably a combination of both. Gandhi was making such he was very expert at PR. The British were getting such bad PR out of what was going on in India. It was like shaming the British Empire, you see. There wasn't any military threat, but they were being so shamed in the world, just like South Africa. They were being shamed so much by all the nations of the world for their apartheid. So the British were being shamed like anything, what they were doing to Gandhi and his followers. So it appears to be a combination, actually, Gandhi and Subhash, the British left. Of course, India, they ruined India when they left. We can't have it, we're going to destroy it. They're so envious that's an envious nature. They pitted the Hindus against the Muslims. The British manipulated them. Previously, the Hindus and Muslims were living very peacefully together. Just like during Chaitanya's time, Shankazi was called uncle. It was a village relationship. It was very affectionate, uncle. The Hindus would call it they would address as uncle the Muslim. They would like a family move. But the British pitted them. There was a huge loss of life, and they partitioned India, and then some Hindus were in Pakistan, they came this side, and Muslims in India, they went that side, and when they met, there was all these thousands and thousands of people were killed in these fights between the Hindus and the Muslims. It was a horrible situation the British created by dividing India like that. See, these modern day people, it's all this lording it over mood, you see, that's the problem. They don't want to acknowledge the supremacy of the Lord and just try to act in accordance with the orders of the Lord. They don't want to do that. They want to themselves be the Lord's, and that's the difficulty. It creates so many problems. It makes a very hellish atmosphere. Very, very hellish atmosphere it creates. When we try to be the Lord's instead of accepting the supremacy of the Lord. So the Krishna consciousness movement wants to bring back Ishavarshan, the God-centered conception. That don't you try to be the center, sir. You make God the center. Actually, even a politician, he doesn't lose anything. Krishna Gandhi's politician is more powerful than him. You see, he becomes more powerful. Look at Yudhishthira Maharaj, look at Parikshit. They were so powerful. Much powerful than any politician of today. You don't lose anything by surrendering to Krishna. You gain everything. I want to be a powerful, influential teacher. Teach the teachings of Krishna. Don't concoct your own teachings, your own philosophy. Whatever you want to do, if you offer it in Krishna's service, you'll become the most successful in that activity. You don't have to act independently of the Lord. This is a diseased condition. They want to deny the existence of God. They want to act independently, thinking that is a better position. That is utter foolishness. If you want to be successful, you want to be happy, then surrender to the will of the Lord. And then whatever you do will become perfect. Krishna is the supreme controller. He's not a Hindu myth. He is, as the dictionary will tell you, he is reality. Everything it's very clearly stated in the Brahma Samhita, you see? Very clearly stated. Eko pisa rachayatam jagananda kotim yachaktarasti jagananda chayayadanta andantarasta paremana chayantarastam govindamari purisham damaham bhajami. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him. And he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that is scattered throughout all the universes at one and the same time. I mean, why rebel against a person? Everything exists within him and he's present within everything. It'd be utter foolishness to try to rebel against some puny little tiddlywink, person who thinks he's powerful, tries to rebel against that person. It's insanity. tried to deny his existence. It's insane. It's insane. Even in a mundane example of someone, there is no President of the United States. I'm the President of the United States. How far will he go? There is no President of the United States. I'm the President of the United States. Except for me, I'm the President. I mean, how far will he be successful? A few idiots may believe him. Call him Mr. President, you see. But how far can he be successful? With such an illusioned, bewildered sort of existence, how far can he be successful? So all these people in the modern day world, they're trying to be the supreme, they're trying to be the center, you see. How far can they be successful? They may appear to be successful temporarily due to past pious activities, burning off their previous good karma, you see. They may temporarily appear to be successful. But Punar Musika Bhava, that will be finished very soon. You know that Purna Musika Bhava? Yeah. That little mouse. He was being tortured by the cat, tormented. He's in great anxiety. Oh, every time I come out of my mass hole, try to get a little food to eat, that cat is ready to pounce on me and have me for his lunch. What to do, what to do, what to do. So one day the cat fell asleep. And little mouse made a mad dash for the yogi's hut. My dear yogi, I'm being tortured by this cat. What can I do? Well, I can make you into a cat. Would you like that? Yes. Make me into a cat. Poof, now you're a cat. Now, no problem. I'm a cat. I'm a cool cat. I have no problems at all, you see. But then the dog came. Ruff, ruff, ruff. And he used to run up the tree, the dog's chasing him, what to do now. Finally the dog went away, again he went back to the yogi. He said, my dear yogi, now the dog is harassing me. What to do? Oh, I can make you a dog, all right. Poof! Now you're a dog, you see. So, now I have no problems. The cats won't bother me, the dogs won't bother me. Now I'm really great. I'm practically the king of the village now. I have no problems at all, you see. I can walk around, prance around town with no problems at all. But then the tiger, one of those Bengali tigers, came looking for a lunch in the village. What to do? Run for make a mad dash back to the yogi's hut. My dear yogi, now there's a tiger, what to do? What to do? The tiger is there, what can I do? Well, I can make you into a tiger. Yes, all right. Poof. You see. So now there he is, tiger, sitting in the yogi's hut with the yogi, nice plump yogi. Nice, delicious looking, plump yogi sitting right there in the hut with him. It's just the tiger and the yogi sitting in a nice hut, in that hut. A tiger, you know, they have the advantage, they don't have to bother cooking their food. They don't need a knife and fork. See, it appears to be a great advantage to be a tiger. It's called, you know, and there it is. You don't have to bother about salt and pepper or anything. Dining room table. Just hop on it. But there's one problem. Whenever the tiger goes for his lunch, all the animals head for the hills. There's a little bird, Prabhupada explains, in the forest. Sayu, sayu. He gives the alarm when the tiger is out on his lunch break. He gives the alarm. Tiger is on lunch break. Sayu, sayu, sayu. And all the animals head for the hills. Mass exodus. And the tiger went, what's going on here? This jungle was full of so many animals, but I don't see any animals around here. What's going on? You see, so the tiger has a hard time actually getting his meals because that little bird alerts everyone to head for the hills. But now he's in the hut with a nice plump looking yogi. Nice, delicious, very delicious looking yogi. So the yogi's no dummy. He says, so, you want to eat me? The tiger says, yes. Punar Musika Bhava. Again you become a mouse. Now he's a little tiny mouse again. So they become very big tiger-like nations, these modern-day civilized countries. They become very big tiger nations. You know. But they're burning up rapidly with all the slaughterhouses, the abortion clinics, and all the nonsense they're doing, the prostitutes and the liquor, all these sinful activities they're doing, these leaders, you see. They become reduced down to mouse once again. Finished. Your big position, your big title, your big office, finished. Now you become a beggar in the street. Again, you become a mouse, you see. So, I can ask now if there's any questions. Yes?
Srila Gurudev, in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there's a elaborate description of the asura's mentality.
Mm.
Can it be understood that anyone who's breaking the laws of God, we can assume that they think like that?
Yes, to a greater or lesser extent. Of course, there are more pious people and more impious people. So there's gradations of how those qualities become manifest. I mean, even somebody who appears very nice, how you can say he's an asura, he's very nice, he's very friendly in the neighborhood. He always helps the neighbors, you know. He's always very helpful, but then one day, you know, he lost his job and he went crazy. He took a gun and started shooting people like crazy at his office. That happens in this country. Everybody was a nice guy, just like here in Austin. He's a really nice guy. He was a member of a band, you know, they had a little rockin' band. He was good buddies with all the bandmates. But he had some trouble with the IRS. He owed a bunch of money, so he got an airplane. He loaded with tanks, put all kinds of cans of gasoline in the cockpit with him, and he flew it right into the IRS building over here. A few miles, and he flew right into the IRS building, and it exploded, and then it hit because of all the gasoline cans. He's an ordinary, nice guy here in Austin, you see. So yes, they appear to be very nice, but below the surface, because of all this sin, the meat eating, you see, the abortions that they're engaging in, they have this, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They appear to be very nice people, going to church, you know, all kinds of nice qualities, but then they have this other thing lurking inside, and sometimes it comes out. So yeah, even the pious people have cultivating demoniac natures. Because they're you know, even nice, so-called nice people have abortions nowadays. Oh, such a nice guy, such a nice girl, but she had an abortion the other day. You see what I'm saying? They appear to be very nice. I mean, President Obama is a very nice guy, but he's sanctioning all these children being murdered. He appears to be a very pious, friendly, nice person, doesn't he? Doesn't appear to be a demoniac person at all, but yet he's doing demoniac things. Does that make it clear? So, yeah.
Gurudev, how can we defeat stress?
Defeat stress. The way to defeat stress is to be in bliss. Why stress out when you can bliss out? Stress is defeated by bliss. Don't try to negate it. Just bliss out on the holy name. Bliss out on prasadam. Ah, Krishna's mercy, ki jai. Bliss out on the reading of Bhāgavatam, you see. Just go into the ecstasy of Krishna bhakti by realizing I have nothing to do with this material existence, and Krishna now has fully manifested himself in the form of the Bhāgavatam and the holy name. Now let me just bliss out on the association of Krishna and relish the nectar of his divine Sangha, his divine association. So immediately there's no stress is gone. Bliss, defeat stress with bliss. That's the key. Okay, anyone else has any stress Yeah?
Devotees doesn't go through the pains and pleasures, but we see all the
Devotee doesn't.
go through the pains and pleasures and because they are situated in Krishna consciousness, but we see that devotees go through the pains and pleasures.
So what's the question?
So, can you explain that?
Okay. Even someone who is on the Brahmamutta platform is not affected by the dualities of the material nature, but we see devotees are affected. So how is that? Well, that means they're neophytes. And that means that as long as we are being buffeted on the ups and down, happiness and distress platform, we are neophyte devotees. We're not very advanced in Krishna consciousness. If we're being affected by the dualities, then it's a test tube, as Prabhupada says, a barometer to tell us, well, if I'm being disturbed by the dualities, it means I'm a neophyte, that's all. I'm a neophyte devotee, I have to be humble and not be proud thinking I'm some advanced Vaishnava, you see. I have to be very humble and meek. I'm being disturbed by these dualities, so that means I'm not very advanced in Krishna consciousness. He wants to be honest about his position. Not imagine, oh yes, I'm a great Paramahamsa. You see, I'm a great Mahabhagavat. And then, as soon as he hurts his foot, he's going, ah. You see. One has to see the reality of his position. Not that I'm, beyond the dualities, if I'm being affected by them. One should honestly see his position. That honesty will make him very strong and powerful in Krishna consciousness. That honesty, being honest with the facts, and not trying to imagine he's in a higher position than he really is. That will make him very strong in Krishna consciousness.
So, being honest now,
Huh?
being honest, then one can say, okay, I'm neophyte. I can't do anything.
No. If one says, I can't do anything, then that's a mode of ignorance. Means he's not seeing through the eyes of the scripture, he's seeing through his own mental concoctions. I can't do anything. No, you can do everything. This science of bhakti means you can do everything to elevate yourself beyond this material nature. If you think you can't do anything about your consciousness, you're an illusion, because you can do everything about your consciousness. It's your duty to purify your own consciousness by the process of Krishna bhakti. These books that are given by Prabhupada give in detail the science of how you can elevate your consciousness beyond the modes of material nature. So say, I'm a neophyte, I can't do anything. No, I'm a neophyte, therefore I must do everything. Then you're properly situated. I'm a neophyte, therefore I must do everything to get off the neophyte platform, become an advanced devotee. That's the proper understanding. I must do everything to come off this neophyte platform and come to the advanced position. That's the proper understanding. Not that I'm a neophyte, I can't do anything.
What is that everything?
Huh?
What is that everything?
Chanting good rounds, honoring prasadam, not too much, not too little, sleeping, not too much, not too little, having the proper balance of service according to one's physical capacities, having the proper amount of reading and study and everything. 24 hours a day, a marathon of Krishna consciousness. Even as a working man. You see, 24 hours a day, Krishna consciousness. One has to make that his life. 24 hours a day, I must practice Krishna consciousness. That's everything. The whole life must be fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Okay? Yes?
Just expanding on
Mhm.
Guru Mata's question about pains and pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Pain will be there whether a person is advanced or Uttama Adhikari also. Like Srila Prabhupada also had...
Oh yeah, the pain, Prabhupada certainly was in a very, very extremely painful condition. And of course he had to modify his behavior because of it. But it's not that he was overwhelmed by it. He lost his Krishna consciousness. He was in a very, very painful condition in his final days. But it wasn't overwhelming for him. He didn't lose his Krishna consciousness. He had to adjust his activities. Of course, his preaching schedule had to be modified. He had to spend time in bed. So he did have to make different, he did have to rearrange his life to accommodate for his physical sickness. That's a bit. Instead of walking, he would be, carried in a palanquin. Different things with him. But it's not that he lost it. Within his heart, he was just as Krishna conscious as a sick person as he was as a healthy person. Not that, actually a devotee, he takes every situation to become more Krishna conscious. If things are going great in the material world, he uses that wonderful situation to become more absorbed in Krishna consciousness. If things go, if disaster strikes and there's just one thing after another, the luggage is lost, the house is burned, the foot is badly injured, he just uses that opportunity to become more Krishna conscious, you see. That's it. The devotee uses everything to advance in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he's not defeated by the material energy. He's in great pain. He uses an opportunity to take shelter of Krishna more deeply within his heart. Does that answer your question? He may feel the pain. I mean, if one is completely liberated, Prabhupada said they don't even feel the pains and pleasures. He actually said that. I heard that there's a lecture of him. I hear having my CD in the car when I drive around. Prabhupada actually says that on the CD. But what if one isn't on that level yet, and you're still feeling the pains and pleasures? Does that mean you're about to be a complete karmi? No. Even if you're on the level, you're still feeling the pains and pleasures. You have to take that feeling as, take advantage of that feeling to help you become more Krishna conscious. If you're feeling in a very painful condition, don't think, well, I'm not devotee because I'm feeling the pain. No, I'm feeling very painful. Now use that feeling of pain to become more Krishna conscious. If I'm feeling very happy, then use that to become more Krishna conscious. So, even if your conditioned soul is still feeling the pains and pleasures of the material world, which is our position right now, use it in a very positive Krishna conscious way. And that will take you rapidly to the position of liberation, where that day will come and you don't even feel the pains and pleasures anymore. It's just something out there in the external energy. If someone kicks the tire on your car, will you feel it? No. Not you, it's just your car. Even if you're sitting in the car, they kick the tire of your car, will it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt at all. It's not you, it's your car. So actually the pains of the body have nothing to do with the self. When one is fully liberated, the pains of the body don't even feel them anymore. But actually, you may be aware of them, because the pains are there to help us take care of the body properly. Just like an alarm. It's like on your dashboard of your car, a red light goes on. Oh, I'm out of gas. I'm out of gas. The car's out of gas. So pain is actually just a red light on the dashboard. It's doesn't be a punishment or a torture. It's just a red light on the dashboard. Well, now you have to do something. Your foot is swollen up. It's hurting like hell. It means you have to do something. Can't ignore it. You got about 5 red lights flashing on your dashboard of the car. You got to do something. Maybe my engine overheating. You can't just ignore it and keep driving down. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Something going on with my car. I better stop and look under the hood. You see. So when the foot swells up and it's hurting like hell, well, something's going wrong there on that foot. Maybe I should have an expert check it out and see what's happening. Make sure I don't ruin it completely. It has to be cut off. So a devotee he's not neglectful of his bodily need. But at the same time, he's not overwhelmed by the bodily consideration. It's just another day. No matter what happens, it's another day in serving Krishna, that's it. Another day in the eternal life of a devotee of the Lord. You see. Another day. Well, today we arrived in London. Today our luggage was lost. And then our house burned. Okay, another day. House burned. Okay, another day. It was like my dad one time told me. He was the plant engineer at Imperial Sugar Company in Sugar Land, Texas. And his duty was to solve problems. That's all. He said, they pay me to solve problems. So a problem wasn't a problem for him, it was his paycheck. Problems. No, okay, great. All right, give me another problem. His duty is to take one problem after another and solve them in the sugar production. The factory, I just got to solve this problem and that problem. Whenever the problems come up, it's my duty to solve the problems. They pay me to solve problems, he told me. So what's the problem if you have problems? Do you find problems to be a problem? If you do, you have a mundane vision. Problems are an opportunity to advance, to get paid, in other words, to advance in Krishna consciousness. If you see every problem as a blessing, then you don't have any problems anymore. You understand that point? If you see every problem as a blessing, then you have no problems. So actually, the more heavy and intense the problems are, the more you make advancement. So there Kunti is saying, please give me very, very heavy problems. Please overwhelm me with unlimited, devastatingly heavy problems. That's how Kunti's moved. Please give me overwhelming, devastating, an unlimited supply of absolutely, completely, totally devastating problems, one after another, after another, after another.
But how much we should put effort to the problem, solving the problems only?
How
much effort should we put?
Well, you have to understand, you have to be focused on the ultimate problem and that is we're caught up in the cycle of birth and death. If you're centered on the number one problem, which is the fact that you're caught up in the cycle of birth and death, and you're always doing everything you can to solve that problem, then the other problems become solved practically automatically. It's not that you neglect them, but they're all done. They're problems. Just like now we have a problem now, we have to get some petitions for Janmashtami, so the kitchen is not a public area. That's a problem that I've taken the responsibility to solve. And so that's a problem I have today. I got to find some solution, find some place where we can rent some partitions, like they put cubicles up in the offices. So they have temporary walls that they can put together. We need to put the Great Wall of 1704 Linville Trail as they go up for Janmashtami. You see. We have to have a temporary wall we can put up to block off the whole kitchen, leave a little entrance on one side. Probably over here in the back by the fridge. Maybe have a curtain over there too. Actually, if If we get a wall with a door, that'd be even greater. Even nicer if we get a wall with a door. But so that's a problem. But so I'm dedicated to solve that problem in the context of solving my ultimate problem, that I have a material body right now. And I'm caught up in the cycle of birth, and that's my ultimate problem, you see.
So when I'm talking,
If you're focused on the ultimate problem, the other problems become much easier to solve. If you try to solve them independently of solving the ultimate problem, you may appear to solve some of your problems, but ultimately you will be a failure, sir. Ultimately you will be a failure, no matter how much problems you seem to solve, but ultimately your life is a complete failure because you didn't solve your ultimate problem. So stay fixed on the ultimate problem, and at the same time solve all the relative problems and in the context of the absolute problem, and they will be more easily solved. The Krishna within the heart will give the intelligence also how to solve the relative problems. If you focused on the absolute problem, the relative problems fall into place. It's like a chiropractor adjusts your back. They snap into place. Any other questions?
yeah, we have two types of problems.
Huh?
External problems and our own problems, physical problems.
Physical problems are relative problems, they're not absolute. Because no matter how many physical problems you may solve, ultimately your physical body will be a failure. It will die. So you have to solve the point is you have to solve the relative problems in the context of the absolute problem. That's the point. If you try to do it independently, you're going nowhere, really. You're going nowhere. You're wasting your time. Shrama eva hi kevalam. You may have a healthy body, you may have a very nice income, so many things, but shrama eva hi kevalam. You haven't solved the absolute problem of birth and death. Anything else? All right, now let us proceed into another wonderful day of solving problems for Krishna.
What problem solving for Krishna?
What problems? You want a list?
What problem that we are solving it for Krishna?
What problems are we solving for Krishna today?
Yeah, no, what is
You want to see my list? I have a list of my personal problem. I wrote down a whole list. Problems I have to tackle and solve today.
What do you think that is
Huh?
what do you think is the problem for Krishna that we have to solve and we are able to solve?
For Krishna, what is the problem?
Yeah.
That we're here in the material world. For him, that's a problem. He wants us back in the spiritual world because he's not getting as much nectar as he could have if we were with him in the spiritual world. Therefore, he finds this to be a big problem that we're here in the cycle of birth and death. That's why yada hi dharmasha, why he comes to deliver us. And why he sends great pure devotees like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada to save us. Because he finds it to be a big problem that his dear beloved devotees are caught up here in the prison house of Durga Devi. You understand? It's very problematic for Krishna.
But Krishna can do that.
Huh?
But Krishna is not needing you to solve that problem.
Oh, why do you say he doesn't need me? Or
He
you?
does not need any living entity to solve
He doesn't need, yet he does need. He's Atma Ram, but it's his choice. If he's the supreme enjoyer, then it's his choice how he wants to enjoy. You can't dictate to him, It's like when you're serving prasadam, you don't say, well, you don't deserve an extra serving of this ice cream. And Krishna it's his free will how he wants to enjoy. If he wants to enjoy, if he finds that our being back with him in the spiritual world will be more enjoyable than our not being in the spiritual world, that's his choice. You can't dictate to Krishna. That no, you shouldn't think this way, Lord.
No, nobody is saying that.
Good. I'm glad you're
I'm
not.
just saying,
Huh?
that is not a problem for him.
Huh?
If that is a problem for him, he doesn't need anybody.
Well, that's your opinion.
That's
But
what he says.
Krishna does feel the need to have us back in his
That's
abode.
what he says in Bhagavad Gita.
What does he say? What's the verse?
I'll find and quote the verse for you.
Okay, well,
He
I just
says-
read the other day where Prabhupada said how Krishna, to increase his own bliss, he wants us back in the spiritual
That
world.
is
I
true.
just
He
read
wants-
them.
He wants us.
Yeah,
He wants
he
us.
desires it.
Yeah.
That means if you desire something, it means you feel a need for it.
He
It's the same thing.
He wants us to, but he does not need our help for this thing. He does not need our service. He does not need. He says that in Bhagavad Gita.
That's true. In one sense it's true, but at the same time, both are actually true at the same time. They don't contradict each other. In fact, Krishna doesn't need our service. He has so many servants already serving him in the spiritual world, but still, he wants to increase his spiritual bliss by our being in the spiritual world and reciprocating with him. Prabhupada clearly states it.
Yes, he wants us back.
So,
but he does not need it.
okay, we'll stop here. Kantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Whatever